in a nice, comfortable Sukhasana seated position. Welcome to Hatha Yoga, Namaste, and welcome to the Asana Sana Yoga Studio. I am Sana, and this is my Hatha Yoga class, a little small snippet. So today's class will be about a half an hour long. And these classes are Monday nights at 5 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have to remember to throw that out. I am a new transplant to the Pacific Coast, so I often forget that everyone else runs on a different time zone than me. So let's get ourselves grounded and seated. An easy Sukhasana here. Let's go ahead and switch our legs around so that we can have a different alignment. And spread the flesh of our sits bones out so that we can get nice and centered. And taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I like to begin class by setting a little bit of intentions. You can either share them with each other or keep them personal. I will tell you my intentions for class, and that is to lead you all through a Hatha yoga flow that is meant to relax, to relearn body movements with our breath, and get recentered in to our Zen, if you will. So, eyes closed just for a moment. Let's breathe, allowing yourself to get centered, allowing yourself to begin class. Excellent. Now let's begin our warm-up today by just slowly beginning to nod the head into a yes position, gently waking up the muscle fibers in our neck. From here, slowing ourselves down, coming back into stillness, let's begin to rotate no, just as easy and gently as we did with our yeses. Let's get those fascia lines open. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down and begin to rotate the head to the right, allowing your head to go at its natural pace, not pushing, just opening. And slow ourselves down, coming back to center, allowing the head to rotate the opposite direction. Slowing us down. Let's go ahead and taking our hands, let's clasp them together. Don't inhale, just as you exhale, go ahead and place your fingers underneath your chin and just slowly allow your head to drop back. You don't want to shove it back, just let it open, opening the front of that neck. From here, let's take an inhale, bringing our head back to center. Let's exhale, gently guiding that head down using our hands. Opening out the back of the neck. Great. Let's inhale those hands up as we bring our head back to center. Let's drop our left arm down at a 45-degree angle. Using our right palm, let's help that head, right ear, come down to that right shoulder. Exhaling, stretching out the side of the neck. Breathing into that neck pull, letting the tension escape. Now let's inhale that head up. Let's turn to the right here, dropping our chin to our shoulder. Let's use our right palm once more to pull our head down to our right, I want to say armpit, but to the floor. Excellent. Inhale the head to the center and our arms back to a T. Let's exhale, turning our head to the left. Using that left palm to drop our left ear to our shoulder, dropping that right arm at a 45-degree angle. Stretching out the right. Let's pull that head up once more, turning, looking to the left, dropping that chin. Stretching out the back right. Wonderful. Let's release. Turning to the front. Let's begin to work on our shoulders. You can let your hands rest on your lap or on the floor. We're just going to roll our shoulders up and back. Slowly and gently, however your body wants you to move today. Slowing down. Let's reverse the roll, coming forward this time. Slowing down on our last roll, let's bring those arms up to a T once more. Taking a deep inhale. Let's exhale as we bring our right arm across, using our left to help our arm stretch. And if it is within your practice today, you may inhale and exhale, looking over that right shoulder to get a full variation of that stretch there. Let's inhale everything out to a T, coming back to the center. Let's wrap that right arm right behind the body, grabbing the wrist and gently tugging it towards the left side, stretching out the front of the shoulder. Excellent. Let's inhale our arms back out to a T. And let's do the same on the left side, taking that left arm as we exhale, sweeping it across, letting that right arm help that left arm across. And go ahead and turn your head if it is within your practice today to look over that left shoulder. Let's release that arm, bringing our arms out to a T, bringing our head back to center, sending our left arm behind, grabbing that wrist and gently tugging. Wonderful. Let's release our arms out once more to a T. And before we let them down, let's twist ourselves, inhaling over to the right, dropping them to the floor. And with our exhale, releasing into a twist. Let's inhale those arms up once more, coming to center. Exhale this time as we turn to the left, dropping the arms down. Exhaling deeper into that twist. Wonderful. Let's inhale our hands up once more. Let's exhale, bending forward. Coming from the hips, making sure that our back is nice and flat. Wonderful. Let's inhale ourselves up. Still in Sukhasana. Let's get ourselves started. Let's meet here at the top of the mat, however way you'd like to come up. Safe and sound is what I like to say. And from here, let's get started with our sun salutations. Now, I like to go over alignment in my class. It's a very, very big deal for me. So starting with the feet, let's look down at our feet. We want to make sure our feet are about hip width apart. So to do that, you can either use your hands at your hips and just kind of eyeball and point it down, or you can just generally eyeball your fist width apart between the big toe knuckles here. Keeping our ankles nice and limber, we want to move all the way up to our knees, making sure our knees aren't locked out behind us, but nice and loose, easily bendable, but straight. Keeping our pelvis in that neutral pelvis tilt by allowing that pelvis to drop down a little bit in the back. Remember, our pelvis is a bowl, so you do want to keep it aligned over those knees, nice and fit. Moving up to our rib cage. Let's exhale the rib cage down so our ribs aren't flaring out, keeping our ribs situated over our hip bones. Rolling our shoulders up and down. Let's keep our shoulders in alignment with our hips. Our ears are parallel with our shoulders here, and we're keeping our head looking forward at a nice neutral gaze. So, getting started, let's inhale those hands up to the sky, really stretching, letting yourself kind of crackle through the day. Exhale, let's come into that forward swan dive, to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway looking up, flat back. Exhale, let's place our hands on the mat, gently step backward into our plank. Inhale and exhale your way down. And inhale, coming up into a downward dog or cobra pose. From here, let's inhale once more, curling those tails. Exhale as we send our hips to the back, to the air. And let's walk out our feet. Let's go ahead and open up the back of the legs there. Really allowing the muscles in our legs to wake up. Wonderful. Slowing it down, let's inhale that foot, the right one this time, up into the air. Exhale as we bring it to the top of the mat to meet our hands. Let's drop that left leg here in the back, allowing the toes in the left leg to uncurl. Inhale, coming up into a low lunge. And I like to just go ahead and bob a little bit here in this low lunge to open up my hips and everything, just warming up the muscles, allowing myself to sink into my flow. Excellent. Let's come to stillness if you haven't already. Exhaling those hands back down to the mat. Let's curl that back toe. Straighten out that left leg. Let's bring our right foot back to match as we come back into our downward dog. This time, let's inhale that left foot up into the sky, keeping our hips square in our three-legged dog. Exhaling, bringing our foot to the top of the mat. Let's drop that back knee, inching your foot forward if you need to, uncurling that back toe. Inhale. Exhale as we sink into our low lunge on our left side. And you can go ahead and bob through here if you'd like as well. Waking up the muscles, waking up the legs. Excellent. Let's inhale, coming to stillness. Cartwheel those hands down to the mat. Let's curl that back toe, straightening that right leg. Let's bring our left back to meet it, coming back into that downward dog. From here, let's inhale ourselves down to a plank, dropping down into that downward dog pose. Exhaling, really arching your back, opening up, dropping the head if necessary. Great. Let's inhale, curl those toes, sending our hips back up into the sky once more. Let's walk or hop ourselves back to our hands at the mat here. Let's inhale, coming halfway. Exhale, hands back down on the mat. Let's inhale, coming all the way up, meeting in prayer pose. Wonderful. We did our first Shavasana. Yeah, or Shavasana. Our first sun sal. Yay. Let's do that again. Inhale. Let's bring those hands up to the sky once more as we exhale into chair. Inhale, coming forward, fold. Exhale. Inhale your hands up halfway. Hands down on the mat as we exhale, stepping back into our plank. Chaturanga down. Inhaling, coming into our upward dog here. Let's curl those toes as we take a deep inhale, exhale, sending our hips up into the sky. This time we're going to use the right foot. Exhale, coming into that three-legged dog, sending it to the top of the mat. Let's turn that back foot here, dropping it so that it's facing straight out. And as we inhale, we want to come up here and exhale into a warrior two. Keeping ourselves nice and strong. I love to throw a warrior two into my sun sals. It reminds me to stay present. You have your hand in the future, your right hand here. You have you in the present. You have your left hand in the past. Focusing on this moment. That's all we could ask for. Drink it in, ladies. From here, let's inhale, cartwheeling our hands back down to the mat. Let's take a step back, coming into that plank. Exhale yourselves down. Inhale into that upward dog. Excellent. Let's curl those back toes as we inhale once more. Exhale, sending our hips up into the sky. This time, let's send our left leg up into that three-legged dog. Exhaling, placing it between the hands. Let's turn that right foot again once more, facing out. Inhaling up, coming into our warrior two. And feel free to adjust. I'm turning this way. Feel free to adjust your legs as necessary. Some days I'm a wide warrior two. Other days it's a short warrior two. No big deal. Wonderful. From here, let's cartwheel those hands back down into the mat, taking a step back into our plank. Let's exhale ourselves down. Inhale, coming up into that downward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhale ourselves up into that, into that downward dog now. Let's hop, skip, or jump our feet to the top of the mat, coming into our forward fold here. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale the hands all the way down to the mat. Let's inhale our hands up to the top. Exhaling as we come down into prayer pose. Wonderful. So now we're all moved up. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes part of our class. I like to spend a lot of time warming up also and using sun salves in the beginning of the Hatha class because it's after work and everybody needs to chill, right? Okay, let's meet here, starting here in mountain pose. And I like to sway just a little bit as I remind myself of the intentions I started at the beginning of the class. Keeping my knees nice and loose. It's a good point to allow your breathing to come back to itself. Excellent. From here, let's inhale those hands up to the sky, clasping them if you'd like into prayer pose or even what I like to call Charlie's Angels pose. Let's take another deep inhale as we exhale, sending our body over to the right, stretching out our body to our side banana laterals. And really breathe into this pose, allowing yourself to sink just a little bit lower with each exhale. And let's inhale ourselves back up to center. And do the same for the left. Exhale, dropping to the left side, allowing your body to sink more and more into this pose with your exhales. Let's inhale up once more as we exhale to the right side. This time, if it is within your practice, let's turn our faces up to the sky. And for the last one, let's inhale ourselves back up to center. Exhale to the left, sending our faces to the sky, if that is within our practice. Excellent. Let's inhale ourselves back up to central. Exhale, releasing the hands, allowing your back to fold itself backwards as we stretch into our back bend. Let's take a deep, deep, deep inhale, filling the corners of our body. And as we exhale, let's curl ourselves forward, fully releasing into our forward fold. Let's place our hands on the mat. Let's heel toe ourselves open. So we can get a little bit more of a comfort forward fold. And if you need it today within your practice, go ahead and use a block to help support yourself in your wide-legged forward fold. But hold here for just a moment. Breathing and centering. Excellent. Now let's turn that right foot out to the right. We're going to bring our left foot also that way as well, almost like we're walking pose. It's turning our hands to the right side. Let's inhale, coming up, exhaling ourselves into our warrior one. Deepening that stretch, sending your shoulder blades down your back, keeping your ribs down, squaring the hips forward, allowing the back foot to pop off the mat if necessary. And feel yourself rooted strongly in this pose here as we hold. Excellent. Let's inhale as we straighten our leg. Maybe shorten your stance if needed. We're going to exhale, swan diving forward, straightening that front leg, coming into our pyramid pose. Now, it's very important you keep your hips squared for this. So you want to pretend that there's a marble sitting at the top of your thighs so that we can keep ourselves straight here, stretching out this leg, shortening your pose if necessary, using blocks because they are a lifesaver. Breathing into this movement. This feels great. Now, if you would like to extend your pose or your practice today, if you're feeling good, stay right here. If not, using blocks or having your hands placed onto the mat, let's inhale, bringing that back foot, keeping it flexed, coming up into an extension of warrior three. Keeping your hips squared to the floor, using your back foot as leverage. And remember, it's totally cool if you drop out of your pose every now and again. Exhale, inhale, come right back in. Awesome. Let's exhale, dropping our foot down to the mat. Inhale, coming back into that warrior one just for a moment. Let's turn our feet back to the front and heel toe our feet back together. So we're coming in our nice proper alignment pose from beginning. Let's drop our hands into mountain once more. Taking our right leg, let's shift our weight to our left, and let's bring our right leg up into a chair pose. Now your chair pose can be low on the floor, you can have it on your shin, you can have it on your thigh. Please don't put it on your knee. We cannot regenerate knees. And as we exhale into our extension of our tree pose, keep ourselves nice and balanced. Feeling the energy. And if you'd like to extend your tree pose today, you can inhale those hands up into the sky. And then if you pull your leg up, you can exhale, dropping the tail, coming into a figure four chair pose for an even more play of an balance today. Holding it here. I actually really love the chair pose, and it's one of my favorite poses. And I try not to put it into every one of my yoga classes, but I've failed parlously today, so what can I do? All right, let's inhale, straightening that leg. Exhale, dropping the leg back to the mat, bringing the arms down. Let's take a little step. Inhale, coming up into that back bend once more. Let's exhale ourselves forward. Preparing the body to repeat the same on the left. Excellent. From here, let's turn our left foot out to the left side. Let's bring that right foot also. Let's inhale, coming on arms up. Exhale into that warrior one. Wonderful. Allow yourself to really settle and sink into this pose. Feeling good. Wonderful. Now let's inhale that front leg straight, shortening the stance if necessary. Let's exhale as we bend forward, bringing ourselves into our pyramid pose. And once again, if necessary or needed, go ahead and use some blocks. And remember not to lock out your knee. I often say that to myself or out loud because I will lock out my knee. It's a lifelong process. Wonderful. And as we're here in this pyramid pose, let's begin to shift our weight forward as before, allowing that back foot, this time the right one, to come off the floor, flexing, inhaling ourselves, coming into that warrior three pose. Remember to keep your hips nice and square to the mat, the floor beneath you. And if you need to drop out of the pose, that's perfectly fine. Wonderful. Keep breathing. We have 2 more breaths. And on this last breath, go ahead and exhale that foot down to the mat. Let's inhale, coming back into that warrior one. And exhale, coming forward, dropping the arms, heel toeing our feet back together. Let's get ready to get into our tree. So let's inhale, bringing our left foot up this time, either on your shin or your thigh. Exhaling into your tree. And if you'd like to extend your practice, you can slide your foot up your leg. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, coming into a figure four chair. Wonderful. And let's everyone inhale ourselves up, feet back down to the mat. Let's widen our feet out a little bit. Exhale, this time instead of coming to a forward fold, we're just going to squat down into our Malasana. allowing ourselves to recenter, cooling down before we take our Shavasana at the end of this class. Now, as this is a truncated class, you may come into easy seat and take your Shavasana sitting, or you may lie down. I will keep an eye on the clock for you all, so I really just want you guys to get relaxed and refreshed. However you'd like to take your Shavasana today, please see yourself into your position, and I'll give you a few moments before we get started. Excellent. I see everyone is rested. If you haven't already, allow your eyes to close. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And really thank your body for showing up today. You guys did wonderful. And as well we rest, think a little bit about today. Did you push yourself a little farther than normal? If you did, wonderful. And if not, that's wonderful too. I'm just glad you're here. Before we come up from our Shavasana this afternoon, I'd like to read for you from the Daily Stoic. Today's topic is on the smoke and dust of myth. It reads, keep a list before your mind of those who burned with anger and resentment about something of even the most renowned for success, misfortune, evil deeds, or any special distinction. And then ask yourself, how did that work out? Smoke and dust, the stuff of simple myth trying to be legend. In Marcus Aurelius' writings, he constantly points out how the emperors who came before him were barely remembered just a few years later. To him, this is a reminder that no matter how much he conquered, no matter how much he inflicted his will on the world, it would be like building a castle in the sand, soon to be erased by the winds of time. The same goes for those driven to the heights of hate or anger or obsession or perfectionism. Marcus liked to point out that Alexander the Great, one of the most passionate and ambitious men who ever lived, was buried in the same ground as his mule driver. Eventually, all of us will pass away and slowly be forgotten. We should enjoy this brief time we have on earth, not be enslaved to emotions that make us miserable and dissatisfied. And with that, I invite you to allow movement into your body by wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. Start to shift your legs and your shoulders, allowing yourself to come back into consciousness. And go ahead and stretch your body out, exhaling and inhaling as necessary. If you're laying down, you can roll yourself over to one side, gently helping yourself up into easy seat. And let's inhale our arms up, exhaling them into prayer. And if you haven't already, go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Welcome back. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the Hatha Yoga class. Again, this is just a sampling. Our classes are usually 60 minutes long, and they are Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Saturdays at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, although you can always access the videos in the Video on Demand library. It was such a fun time having you guys in class today. I'm going to end class here in a second, and if you have any questions, we can chat in the cool down room. If not, thank you again. I hope to see you once more. Bye, guys.